and who will see this meeting later on BCTV. I'm calling to order the Select Board meeting of December 8th at 6:30 p.m. And Chip.
Oh, wait, do I have to ask him to unmute?
Yes,
Where is he?
Hello.
I am unmuted now. Life is good.
Okay, will you read us the rules of procedure, please?
Yeah, I will. So Vermont's open meeting law 1 VSA 312H requires that the public be given a reasonable opportunity to express opinions on matters considered by the board, provided order is maintained under reasonable rules set by the select chair. The select board invites public comment on each agenda item, an approach designed to support public engagement and meaningful participation in the board's decision-making process. To help keep the meeting on track, time limits will be applied. Comments should remain focused on the agenda items being discussed.
Thank you so much. Do we
Got it.
have any changes to the agenda order?
I don't think we need to change the agenda order, but I wanna ask Jimmy something about the salt vendor, FY26 that has a motion. So I just wanna be able to talk to him about it then, when he's speaking.
Oh, sure.
Good plan.
Good plan.
Good plan.
Okay, so we're moving on to public comment. And so, yes,
I'm Steve Lemke from River Road, and I'd like to talk to you tonight about a event that's coming up this Thursday at the American Legion from 6 to 7:30. And I'm gonna just read through this so I don't get rambling too much, but Bill HR 1, known as the Big Beautiful Bill, was introduced into the House and passed last May. It was signed into law on July 4th by President Trump. The law is hundreds of pages long and incorporates an enormous number of changes to programs affecting the state, our towns, and our citizens. To help Vermonters make sense of the bill and its impact, last fall, a number of organizations, including Vermont Natural Resources Council, Vermont Public Interest Research Group, Hunger Free Vermont, Planned Parenthood, Democracy Vermont, and the Public Assets Institute, put together a panel discussion presentation entitled The Big Beautiful Tour About the Big Ugly Bill, and took the presentation on the road throughout the state. They have held events in 7 other towns in Vermont, from Essex to Middlebury to White River Junction, and they're coming to Brattleboro this Thursday, December 11th. It will be held at the American Legion Hall opposite the courthouse in Brattleboro from 6 p.m. to 7:30. The presentation will be moderated by VPIRG representative, and the panelists will speak from 6 to 7, and then there will be a 30-minute Q&A for the audience. A local group called the Democracy Action Group of Guilford and Vernon are the hosts for the evening, and the people who sent out an invitation to VPIRG and company to come down to Brattleboro. Linda and I attended a session in Bennington. We found it very informative and very action-oriented. And I would say, regardless of your political stripe, this is not a political action thing. It's an information meeting. We encourage you to attend. If you do decide to attend, please arrive a little early so they can start and end on time. They're pretty detailed about their time. Starts at 6, ends at 7:30. So again, it's this Thursday. Again, this Thursday from 6 to 7:30 at the American Legion. As people know, there's lots of free parking at the Legion and in the area. And just a quick word about the Democracy Action Group of Guilford and Vernon. Who are these people? Roughly about the same time that the bill was passed, a group of people from Vernon and Guilford, just because they felt they needed to get together and talk about what was happening in various ways, got together, and it's about 100 people who have joined up and are just meeting every 3 weeks or so to sit together to say what's happening, how do people feel, what can we do, and it's mostly an information gathering group and a sharing of stories and actions. So it seemed natural for this group to invite the VPIRG and VNRC group to come, because that's what they're doing. They're just raising issues and trying to make clarity out of something that's very hard to understand.
Thank you, Steve. Did you want to announce the carol sing as well?
Yes, the Green River Carol Sing, brought to you by the Green River Village Preservation Trust, will be held this year on Sunday, the December 21st at 5 o'clock. And as people know, and especially Chip knows, who's on the board with me, the church will be decorated on the 20th, and on Sunday night, at 5 o'clock, we'll heat the place up during the day with the Glenwood stove, and there'll be a leader, Michael Mario, has led the group for 16 or 17 years. Patty Meyer will play the organ this year. We'll have local kids who are from the village acting as ushers and bell ringers. And it should be a very nice thing. So if you want a dose of Vermont Christmas, 5 o'clock, December 21st, it's about an hour maximum. You'll be home in time for dinner.
Thank you so much. Are there any other announcements, either online or here in the room? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to approval of the minutes of 11/24/25 Select Board meeting, and I would move that we accept the minutes. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, is there any discussion? Yeah,
I just wanted to say that I really appreciated the minutes this time. I thought they were briefer, to the point, and condensed well. Thank you.
Okay, condensation is always key. Okay, so let's see, we'll take the roll. Chip, how would you vote?
I wasn't at the meeting last week, so I have to abstain.
Oh, okay, Chip. Miss you.
Yeah, I missed you guys.
Okay. Tara,
I
Mike,
Aye.
Sheila,
Aye.
and I say aye, so we have approved the minutes. Next, we have the finances, and Tara, I hope you are doing the warrants.
Yep, I would like to move to accept the warrants as written. Payroll week ending 11/30/25 is $8,159.02. Payroll week 12/7/25 is $8,314.64. Expense warrant number 2611 is $11,856.46. Expense warrant number 2611A is $2,899.15. Expense warrant number 2611R is $4,836.39 for a total of $36,065.66.
Thank you very much. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, and is there discussion?
Yes, so we had, for Catamount Library Services, we had $800. This is an online catalog service annual fee. For Viking Sieves, is that how you say that?
Jenny, do you know? I don't know.
Sieves, okay. It was $1,370.70 for the 2022 International Dump Truck repairs. DJ's was $855.56 for repairs on 3 trucks. We had $1,457.37 in office supplies. That went on the M&T credit card, and tech subscriptions.
Yeah, sorry, not just office supplies, but also like
Oh, tech subscriptions as well.
to
Okay.
Microsoft.
Okay.
Stuff like that.
Beamers, $4,883.07. VTax, $1,233.66. That's payroll taxes to the states. And then warrant 2611R is a refund for overpayments for taxes, and 1 tax abatement was approved by the Board of Abatement, and that amount was $4,836.39.
And I have an addition to what Tara was listing. The other warrant, 2611A, is for ACH payments that have to be handled separately by Ellie. So she needs a separate provisional.
And can you just
Approval for
say very briefly what ACH payments are?
They are basically online payments that go directly to wherever they're going. So one is for B tax and the rest are for warrants here. M&T credit card payments.
Okay, thank you, Erica. So is there any further discussion? Yeah,
So I noticed, this is not for tonight, but for the next budget meeting, that we have an invoice for e-bike repairs.
mm-hmm.
And I think when we decided to purchase those bikes, we did not factor in repairs in the budget. I don't remember that we did or not. I think we need to be careful.
We should, yes, because that was taken out of some remainder of the grant that was used to purchase those
Yeah.
bikes, but I think there's not anymore.
And I just think going forward, it's not a big expense, but
Yeah.
it's something that we need to be mindful of in the budgeting for the library or wherever that goes. I can't remember.
Yeah, good point.
Okay. So is there any more discussion of the warrants? Okay, so we'll call the roll. Chip, do you approve the warrants?
I do. Say aye, yes.
Aye, okay. Tara,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Sheila,
Yes,
and I say aye, so we have approved the warrants. And now we're on updates and reports. And so Erica, I look forward to hearing what you've been up to.
Okay, well, I'm gonna try to keep it short this time.
Well, inclusive is most important.
Right, so I have a small list. The first thing I am very pleased to report is that the Grange organization has let me know that they have a pre-town meeting date set.
Hurrah.
And so that is February 19th. It's a Thursday, the week before the week of town meeting. And that will be at BBCC upstairs at 6:30 p.m. BCTV will be there to record it, and they plan on doing it the same as they traditionally do with candidate statements, and the select board will be invited to talk about articles. So you may remember you guys, the select board, approved updates to the traffic ordinance. And there is a period of time where we have to be on hold for a little while in case there is a petition wanting to change that signed by a certain number of residents, and there was no petition, so I believe that the traffic ordinance can now go into effect.
And we need do nothing more for it to go into effect.
Right, it just gets recorded by the town clerk. I believe. It goes into the records. We had another budget workshop last week. We were discussing the highway budget, although Jimmy couldn't come because he was cleaning up a bunch of snow. So
Like he does.
I think it went pretty well. And we have another one. The last one that's scheduled is next Thursday. Wednesday, the 17th, December 17th. We'll be trying to wrap up all the loose ends. To that end, Ellie and I, mostly Ellie, have been working on questions about the HRA fund and insurances and all the loose ends I mentioned. We've also continued taking Vermont Local Government Institute courses. They have been so valuable. They go by very quickly. They're about 2 hours each, and it's a session where there's a speaker and then people ask questions and talk, and it's just incredibly useful to commune with other people doing the same work in different towns. It's been really, really positive. One more note, I believe you'll notice that I have been posting Green Mountain Power updates on the website every week, as they have been sending them to me faithfully every Friday, and I did not get one this Friday because all I got was a message saying that they're off-road cleaning up.
Correct.
So they're done. Done in Green River for the moment, anyway. So that's it. That's all I want to talk about right now.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Erica? Okay, Erica, it's wonderful how the scope of what you manage for us. Okay, Jimmy, you're up.
Okay. I will also keep it brief. I am happy to report our tractor was sent out for warranty work. There was some electronic signals going off and this and that. Big surprise to us. It's a couple years old. Blah, blah, blah. They had it for a couple of months. I was getting ready to make a call. We don't use it in the winter, and they brought it back and handed me a bill for 0.00. So it had to do with the DEF, which is the kind of pollution control, making diesel vehicles. They all have them now. And when things go bad with that system, it's always cha-ching. And so we got it. That one turned out okay because it happened within a couple of years. And so we were well under warranty. So you got to win some. We had the first storm of the year. Went pretty well, but you test equipment and people, and the timing's never exactly the way you would like it. So it dragged on into the next day, and it was a bit slippery. Used a bunch of sand, used a bunch of salt, and everybody, the state, nobody could get the asphalt clean for 30 hours. It's just that kind of wet, sticky, cold, the combination. I see Route 5 and Route 142 when I drive home, and Vernon's work. And so everybody couldn't get it cleaned. Fortunately, the sun came out the next day and got it all cleaned off, and it's nice and dry now, so for now. And that would lead to every storm, we pull things back in, we clean them up, we look at them. And of course, when you test equipment in the cold, we've blown some hydraulic hose. We had a weak U-joint in the loader. Everything fixed, probably 6 to 8 good problems, all fixed. There'll be some part bills, but we were able to do 95% of that in-house.
Wow.
And use some tools from DJs to help us along. And so, again, I'd like to thank the guys that work with me. There's a lot of talent and a lot of knowledge there. And so even though the bills come by in warrants, they're lesser than they could be by a lot. So that's a win too. And speaking of repairs, all of our vehicles are full of electronics, as your vehicles are, and everything you do in life now. And the Viking one was on our newest 10-wheeler. It was a controller to turn on the sander and on the auger to the sander. Electronics are electronics. Nobody covers anything. You get out the door 6 months maybe. You're a slave to them. And of course, cold and salt and sand and, just the use of that puts a strain on them. And when electronics go, that's it. I mean, when your PC goes or your phone, you got to have a new one. You can't be out of business. So a lot of repairs there's a remote, a control box in one of the 550s. Also stopped functioning. We were able to open it up, flip buttons that we don't use. It was just a switch. We used one of the other switches in that box, and so you would never hear about it. That's all fixed, and we can use it. So the guys are pretty clever. And then if not, we have to purchase it. So that's kind of the big thing of tonight. Tomorrow we will be hauling sand to fill the shed, try to keep it full as we go. And it looks like we'll be putting some back out Wednesday at some point. So it's a never-ending process. I'll end with that.
It looks like you're about 2/3 of the way through your repair budget, so that's relatively where you'd expect to be this year, right?
Yeah, I mean, until March is over,
sorry.
um,
Fingers
Yeah.
crossed.
that's right, that's right. And you know, the colder it gets and the more hours you put into storms. And those are small, relatively small bills, you know. Tires and that stuff, we don't have a separate thing for a lot of things that go on the trucks in the late summer and fall are actually consumables, tires, tire chains. We buy those and we have those ready. Those actually weren't repairs, but that's the category they go in. So it's not like a lot of that stuff is not breakage, it's wearables. We just don't have separate budget categories for that. The DEF fluid goes in every rig, you know, goes under sometimes I divide it out, kind of playing with the budget categories. But in the end, we should be in good shape. Yeah.
Well, good. Tara?
Yes. So I'm looking at the Cargill quote.
Mm-hmm.
What is the clear lane enhanced de-icer? So that's $125 a
Yes.
ton versus bulk.
Yeah, so common verbiage, I call it MAG. It is coated. So you notice like Massachusetts pre-treats the road with brine.
Okay.
It's a wet system. And then for up to 72 hours, when that gets to a temperature where you would get ice, that activates. What it does is buy you time. You still have to go salt, but it buys you time if you don't have a large crew and a lot of miles. And if you don't know if the rain or wet snow is going to start or the temperature drop Friday night or Saturday night, you can brine it and let it dry. And then it'll activate and gives you time to get there. So if you have a flash freeze on one road, our town's so big.
Yeah.
Sometimes like on the dirt roads, East Mountain will be icy as heck and the other 3/4 isn't. Typically the high points
Right.
are.
Right.
So it's, as far as sanding, sometimes we go all down Route 5, we don't need any. And Stage Road is always slippery, no matter how many times you put sand on it.
So this is something that we've always bought.
I tried, so that is not the brine, but it is coated salt. They coat it with mag. And what it does, if you have the rainstorms in the winter, like we've been getting, salt, it's all water soluble and it doesn't work well until it's melted. That's when it goes into its own, melts and goes into its own brine, then it spreads across the road and clears it. This, when you have an 8 or 10 or 12 hour storm that it just keeps wet, heavy snow or raining, lasts a lot longer. It holds. And so last year I bought a couple loads and kind of experimented when I thought we had these long days. So we don't typically buy that. We buy the regular salt. And I don't know if I'll buy any this year. But there were a few days last year.
Regular salt?
We typically buy regular.
But no,
Yeah,
you don't know
bulk.
if you're gonna buy any regular salt this year.
No, of the mag.
Oh, I see.
Clear
Of the coated. It's
Yeah.
basically, it's not the brine, it's in a solid form, but it's the same idea. It keeps your salt out there longer when you have continuous drizzle in cold temperatures.
Right.
Rather than going around, they experiment at ski areas, and they found at Stowe last year, it rained for about 10 hours, just drizzle. Well, with the regular salt, every 90 minutes, there was a guy salting. And they found that putting the mag on, he could go 4 or 5 hours. It will hold, but it's more expensive.
Do you know if, since this is a quote, and if we vote on this and approve it, we're, in the quote, it's for 100 tons. If we buy less than 100 tons, are they gonna change the price? Because it's
No.
$125 a
No,
ton.
this company's been very good.
Okay.
It's one of those companies, perennial, very good to us. And last year, when everybody was out of salt and in a bind and the price doubled, they held
Excellent.
for us.
Okay.
And they assured me that they would.
Okay.
And it's just, we bid 4,000 yards of sand. If we buy 3,000, Steve's a losing. He's not, hey, where's my other? You know, I
Right.
counted on you buying plant. Like in a lot of things
Yes.
in America, if you buy 100, 1,000, 10,000, you get a cheaper
Yes.
price.
Yes.
It's an honor agreement, and they understand we're going to buy what we need, not what we. So we tend to go high, the top we've ever
Yeah.
used. No,
So
so we're
my-
not held to that.
And my other question is this the company that Danny always used, and have we ever shopped around?
Last year, when everybody was under the gun, we shopped around, and the price, literally, the regular salt depot is in Westminster. It comes off a train.
Mm-hmm.
The mag comes out of Montpelier. That's their other station. Hence, it's really trucking that's
Yeah.
more. They're not charging us much more for the coated salt. And the other places I looked were both in Western New York. They dig it out from under the Finger Lakes, and you can't even. The tonnage price was double, and the trucking would just blow you away. So I didn't check again this year, but there's no way. And we've done business with this company for as long as I know.
Okay.
So
We use Appalachia out of Albany.
out of Albany, yeah, it's another
we
depot.
only have 165 tons. You're putting in for 500 tons, and our price is 99, and this price is 98.25. So we might get a better deal, but it sounds like they're a great company, and they're gonna,
Your price was 99 and this is
Mhm.
98.
98.25. So there's only a 75-cent difference, and we're getting a lot
Is it
less.
trucked here for that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know if it's worth looking into, or
Okay.
if you just recommend, like, this is a great company, they're there for us, it's
Well,
only 75-cent difference, but,
right.
but the town's buying more.
Okay,
So
in the back of
towns
my
always get a
mind,
better deal.
right. In the back of my mind, the people that have taken care of us
Yes.
weighs in.
Yep, I agree.
And last year there was some serious gouging.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I won't say gouging. There was a supply shortage, and that's what happens. If it's
And they
if
stood
it's
up
real
for
hot and
their-
you're out of water,
Yeah,
the price
yeah.
of water goes up. That's
Yep, I just wanted to know some details.
okay.
But I
And I'm
totally-
not familiar with that company. I do
Mhm.
I do know that it comes out of Albany.
Yep.
But I part of it was a business relationship,
Yeah, and I respect that immensely.
and you guys were certainly free to pursue whatever you would like to. So.
So is the MAG a pretty new acquisition for the town, like a sort of global warming addition to our repertoire?
Somewhat. It's been around, but basically ignored for a while. But there's rain any month of the year now,
Right.
and that's just not right. I mean,
No.
rain in December, January, February is terrible. Snow is no problem. We plow it over the bank, we sand, we all go home. You go do what you want. When it rains, we're on edge until it stops.
Well, I'm only asking just to raise consciousness about it. I mean, I
yes.
already knew the answer, but
Oh, yes.
I just feel as if, as a town,
Yes.
we need to be aware of these changes and its impact on each household and also on the people who serve us.
Oh, it's certainly different. You could predict most months for the whole calendar year as far as weather, and it might vary by a couple of weeks. And you can't predict any month now. The ups and downs are. And Halifax, I can tell you, went to another system they have. They buy these huge cubes of liquid, which are that mag coating, and they in their yard dump a load of salt, dump the liquid, mix it up with their loader, and put it in their shed. And so I went to that class and I watched them do it, and I was kind of timing it, and that takes two men, a loader and a truck, and the time. And for me, with this $26 difference, I'm like, if I'm gonna buy that stuff, I'm gonna buy it from Cargill, because basically, and there's things we do, like hauling sand, that if we have the labor, we do it ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
some other towns don't, and they truck it, like Dover will hire 18-wheelers to truck sand because it's more efficient and cheaper. So you're kind of looking at both ways,
Yeah.
and you have to put a price on 2 men and 2 pieces of equipment in your yard. But it worked out well for them. They have very steep roads. They're getting rain in the winter
Right.
even. And so things are continuously slippery.
Yeah.
And, but Mike did it last winter and he's doing it this winter. For him, he kind of likes it. I didn't think it was the most efficient use. But we're always watching.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're willing to try, experiment and see what works best for us.
Any other questions for Jimmy? Well, thank you so much.
That was rather long-winded for keeping it brief.
No, it
Thank
was
you.
all important
Thanks, Judy.
information.
Okay.
Okay, now we've got the Guilford Volunteer Fire Department, and so come on up and welcome.
Thank you. All right, I think you all have a handout, okay? And it's pretty straightforward this year. So in summary, we're proposing a town appropriation of $304,550, which is an $18,000 increase from last year, and a 5.91% increase. And that 18,000, if you recall 2 years ago, and you can see it here on the paper, fiscal year 25, our capital outlay fund for our truck was $36,000, and it had been that for quite some time. As we started to review our truck replacement schedule, we realized that in the next few years, we're due to replace our pumper truck. And so we did an analysis and determined that in order to afford that truck down the road, we would need to essentially double that truck fund. So go from 36,000 up to 72. We thought that one-time increase was too much to ask of the town in 1 year. So if you recall last year, we also asked for 18,000, so half of what we really need. So this year, we're just simply asking for the remaining 50% of what we need, which will bring that line item up to 72,000. All of our other budget line items are level funded, no change. The only other thing that I'll draw your attention to in that same section of the budget for the capital outlay, I know you're well aware of the $35,000 that was originally budgeted for the building renovation that we did quite some time ago. And the town kept that budget so that we would have it to use down the road, even after the loan was paid off. And that line item has always been with the town. At town meeting last year, it was brought up, would it be easier on all of us if the fire department brought that budget line item into their budget? Right now, I think we actually have an MOU that allows the town to send it to the fire department without having to go through all of the approvals. It would eliminate the need for that and simplify it. We're happy to do it either way. This proposal in front of you does pull that $35,000 into the fire department budget. So it's not an increase, it's just shifting it from the town to the fire department. And other than that, like I said, everything else is level funded.
Okay. Tara?
Beth, are you talking so for the capital outlay fund under the word building?
Mm-hmm.
Is that the building?
That's it,
Okay.
yep.
So where the budget in 26 was 74,000, the proposed in 27 is 107,000, making it a $33,000 difference.
Yep.
So it's the 18,000 plus the 33,000.
Yes.
Equaling on the top net town appropriation 53,000? Or wait, or is that, I'm sorry, there's the 20,000 for the fundraising.
Yeah.
Is that
Loss.
added?
That's a
That's
loss.
out. So yeah,
Okay.
so that it's a little bit of a added complexity to it because last year, if we recall, because of the success of the fundraiser, the department decided to allocate a one-time $20,000 towards the truck. Again, knowing we needed to boost that fund, so they put $20,000 from the fundraiser into that fund, one-time allocation. That's not happening this year. That's why you see a reduction of 20,000 to that line item.
Okay, so the 33,000 plus the 18,000, maybe.
So the 33 is the sum of the 18,
Okay,
the 35, and then the negative 20.
okay.
And so that line
Okay.
item, if you're looking at the line directly under building,
Mhm.
that's a total line. And I tried to show
Alright.
that by indenting the 3 subsequent lines. So those 3 subsequent lines, the one-time GBF allocation, the capital outlay fund truck, and the capital outlay fund building, those are sublines, and they're totaled above in the capital outlay fund line.
Okay, so the 18,000 is all that is increasing because the 35,000 is just being moved.
It's gonna be one article instead of two,
Okay.
basically.
Exactly. Yep, we have that kind of extra article
Yeah.
that we won't need to do if this is
Mhm.
accepted.
Okay.
Yep.
Now I understand.
Yeah, no, it's a little bit tricky with that one-time $20,000.
Okay, are there,
Actu-
okay,
One more question. So when there's a budget and then the actual is less than the budgeted item,
Mhm.
where does that overflow go? Does it stay within that line item?
It goes into a reserve that then can be used wherever it's needed because as you guys know, some lines are over, some are under, so we'll use it to offset an overage in another line item.
Okay.
Yep.
And do you have a line item for the reserve?
No, we have a register that keeps track of what that balance is, but it's not included in a budget line item per se.
So it would be good to see fiscal year 26 year to date.
Okay. I can
Just
provide that,
as
yeah.
and then how much reserve surplus or deficit you have every year.
Yep.
Because if we don't have that, then the town is just basically saying, okay, yeah,
Sure, that makes sense. I can add that and then send you a revised copy.
I mean, I think it's 2 different reports. One is the town reports fiscal year,
Right.
year to date, or, in our report, it's gonna be fiscal year actual and then year to date. That's how we budget.
Mm-hmm.
But the second report would be kind of a history of what your deficit or surplus is annually
Right.
for a few years, just to get a sense of how much of the budget, how much of the town appropriations were spent or not, and how much you had to cover or not.
Sure.
So I think that's a separate.
And that's just for transparency, so
Yeah.
you know.
Absolutely.
okay.
Because we don't know how much you have in your, so what is you've got a truck fund, is it now $72,000 balance, is that like,
Right,
that's
right.
like
To
a
see,
little
you
hard
want to see
to
account
understand.
balance.
It's not, it's not a budget thing, right?
It's not. We budget for it because we're asking money for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not really a budget because it's not expensed every year.
Right, and it's,
Right.
yeah, so I think it would be useful.
Sure. And the other just point to note is that at town meeting last year, we also were asked if we were investing our truck fund. And we are investing it now with Edward Jones. And we have a projection of, when we will be able to afford the new truck based on these allocations into that account.
So I don't think the select board the select board will simply present this to the town, like every year they do.
Yeah.
But I think that it will benefit the town to have a little more accounting information on this. So that people, because I know you face tough questions sometimes in town meeting, and it would be good to have that available in the town report. Just, I think. And then Chip seconds that.
Oh, did Chip
He's
just
just
send you
texting me
a
saying,
message?
I said this last week, so yeah. I didn't say it, I think I said it in the budget meeting last week, just it would be useful to have more
Okay.
to have a better understanding.
So is there, Steve, did you have your
I would
own?
just have a quick comment. I was gonna ask if you invest your money, because you're moving some pretty good numbers around.
Yes.
And I think that's a note that would be good for the town report as well.
To show
because
those
It
account
shows,
balances.
it shows some fiscal responsibility, not just, put in, Brattleboro savings and loan and hope
Sure.
for the best.
Yep.
So,
No, I definitely, I can provide that.
Okay, is there any more questions, comments for,
I have a question.
yeah,
So later in the meeting, we have a correspondence from
Yeah. Thank you.
the rural fire
oh, right,
rural fire protection group that is under the auspices of a, excuse my glasses, regional conservation, sorry, I'll say that out loud. Rural fire protection under the Vermont Association of Conservation Districts. So they, last year they did this and this year, they've written to us requesting an appropriation for their work, but they don't want to go through the motions of doing a petition for an article like all the social service groups have to do. So I think I asked you this last year, Jared, like, how have you used their service, the dry well,
The dry hydrants.
the dry, yes, the
Yes.
dry hydrant group?
We have some installed throughout town,
Mm-hmm.
but we don't really focus too much on them because we also have portable pumps.
Right.
And our water sources that we use are that close enough that we use the portable pumps versus the dry hydrants.
Okay.
Because of the maintenance mostly.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to maintain dry hydrants every year. There's a lot of stuff involved with all that. With this rain we've been having, the sediment that fills up in those when we need to use them, our portable pumps are so much easier and more versatile. So we actually went and bought a second one, so we have two of them now on two different pieces.
So where would a dry hydrant be useful? Is that just for other types of communities?
Well, we have one right down here next to the old town yard, right there next to the trailer.
Yep.
The little bridge there.
Okay.
There's one there. There's a couple throughout town. But I mean, we can take a portable pump. It moves 750 gallons a minute, and we can go to a stream, to a pond, to a pool, and we've done all the above. So, I actually had a meeting with ISO, our insurance rating people, not too long ago, and I asked that question: why can't that be observed as being a benefit in our town? And they don't recognize it.
The portable pumps.
The portable pumps.
Mhm.
So, I don't know. It's a huge benefit to us, so that's all I guess that really matters.
yeah. Could you just explain very briefly what a dry hydrant is?
It's pretty much just that. A regular hydrant like down by the store has water to below
Right.
frost grade there, so all we have to do is
Right,
hitch it up to the truck, turn it
Right.
on, we have water.
right,
A dry hydrant is pretty much plumbing into a water source,
okay,
and then we would hitch up to it and then
okay, I
take
understand,
it in, bring the water up through it at that point. So,
okay. Tara, did you have a question?
Yeah,
or
there's
comment?
there's a couple line items that have a pretty big discrepancy between actual and budgeted, like firefighting equipment in 2025, $5,379 was spent, but $35,000 was budgeted, and debt services that I'm not sure really.
none of those have come in yet. That's why that's so high.
Because it's not a full year.
Correct. We wait till we get our appropriation before we do the firefighting equipment, and what's gonna eat that up in 4 items is 2 air packs and 2 sets of gear. That'll take over $20-something thousand easily right there.
Yeah, I think you're talking about current fiscal year,
Right.
and Tara's looking at fiscal year 25.
Which was actual.
Yeah, I'll have to look at that, Tara, because typically that line item is a lot higher. I'm trying to remember, and I just don't, so I'll have to
Okay.
look into it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's what like Sheila had also said, to see what is in the reserve and what is actually spent in the last couple years
Sure.
versus what's budgeted and
Yeah.
what's approved.
Yep.
Would be really, really helpful just
Okay.
to understand the whole Absolutely. The whole budget.
Great. Let me just say one more thing about that. The taxes raised for the fire department are, I mean, nobody ever, people question it, but nobody ever argues with it, but it is a huge percent of our taxes raised.
Right.
So I think just to justify,
Absolutely, yeah,
explain,
no,
not justify, explain.
yeah,
And it'll make it clearer because I did ask some hard questions at the town meeting and get some
Right.
blowback about it when, I like totally support the fire department.
yeah.
But I didn't feel like I had enough information, and that was the place I asked the tough questions.
Sure.
So prior to that, it would be great if I, felt better about the budget.
No pushback here.
Okay.
Okay,
And if you do have any questions, or anybody does, we have a trustees meeting the first Monday of every month. We're at the fire station every Tuesday at 6:30, and my phone's on 24/7, and I live with her, so I can get
Lucky
you the
me.
answers anytime.
right.
Okay.
Lucky all around.
Yes.
Okay, well, thank you so much. Oh, Steve.
Are you the treasurer or do you have different, okay.
Okay, are we done with these people?
Done with us. All right.
Thank you so
Maybe
much for coming.
Thanks a lot.
Wait, did we get a clear answer on that? It doesn't sound like we need the $200 thing. This seems like a weird expense.
I mean,
What are we talking
they
about?
just, they
It's in
send
the
it,
correspondence.
yeah, it's weird.
The
and,
dry hydrant thing that
The
they're
dry
asking.
hydrant.
Oh.
It
Doesn't seem
sound
like it's
we
making
use
sense
it
to you
a
guys?
lot.
Is it a political thing that we
I-
should be supporting them?
Can I?
State ship.
Well, I mean, we can get into it in the correspondence. I totally agree with Jared on that, but, it's so many layers to this thing, but I mean, I think the RFP program does provide some value. Guilford likely has benefited at some point, from their grants over the years. And I don't think that we can either, in going forward, I don't want to talk out of line on the agenda, but, I think going forward, we either have to take a look at, do we want to get tangled up in dry hydrant management and have gaps in rural fire protection, or, we could hire our own engineers and get grants and et cetera, and we can do all that ourselves for like just $200. But there's ways to work this into the budget that I think I can bring up when we get to the correspondence part of the agenda.
Great.
Okay.
Was there anything else you wanted to say?
If you get questions when you get to that part, let me know.
Okay,
Okay.
okay, well, good night. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank
Thanks a lot.
you.
Okay, so, moving right along. Okay, we're on new business now, and we're looking at the Slate Rock Culvert Engineering Contractor contract.
Yes.
So, we had the documents about that in our folder. Did you want to say anything more about it, Erica, before we talk about it?
Yes, I would just like to introduce what's going on. So we haven't talked about the Slate Rock Culvert project for a little bit.
Right.
What has happened behind the scenes is a consultant selection committee was formed and did their work, and the consultant that was selected was Du Bois and King, and this is their proposal, and so it is up to the select board to accept the proposal to move this project forward, and Colin is here to talk a little bit more about it.
Okay,
And
so,
this is a proposal for engineering on the culvert.
yes, and in the document, it talked about the range of services that they were providing. So Colin, you want to come on up here and?
Yeah, I mean, I can give kind of an introduction. I guess more so if there were specific questions that people had about the document. I would say, a few things is that this is a V-Trans grant that the town was awarded. A couple of year was applied for, a couple of years ago was awarded last year, and then by the time you kind of get everything finalized with the state and, you know, do the sort of the RFP process, and, you know, it takes a while. So this has been going on for, you know, probably almost 2 years at this point since it was first applied for. This is, I stress this with towns on these grants, is that this isn't free V-Trans money. It is federal highways money that has been appropriated to the state of Vermont, that the Vermont Agency of Transportation then has discretion about how that money gets used within Vermont, but the requirements about how that money is used, what the reporting is, you know, how you have to do procurement, what the permitting looks like, all of that is determined by federal highways and is more substantial than what you would have to go through if this was just V-Trans funding on its own. And part of the issue is that any grants that are available from V-Trans that are exclusively funded with appropriations from Vermont tax dollars, they're capped at like 200,000, which doesn't get you all that far when you're dealing with projects of this size. And so that is all to say that there's a lot of steps outlined in the document that is before you. That's really very standard federal highway stuff. There's a V-Trans project supervisor who is also involved in this project. So this, I think it looks like a lot, but that's just, you know, when you're accessing this kind of funding from the state, this is what the project development process looks like.
The V-Trans project supervisor is very helpful in keeping you in line with stuff you have to do.
Yeah,
Requirements
that's
of
their
these
job.
grants.
If
Yeah,
we're doing something
that's-
wrong, they have to step in and tell us that we're doing something wrong. So.
Which is Du Bois and King.
No, so the V-Trans supervisor is Ashley Andrews. The Boys and King would be the engineering consultant, which is going to, I mean, I guess I should
So many layers.
No. To get to that part is that this is to do the full design of the structure, and in this instance in particular, figure out what the temporary access situation will be for Slate Rock Road, because there's, you know, nothing up on the other side. This is a dead end. There's quite a few houses, like 50 something households beyond this structure. And it's unlikely that this is something that's going to be able to just get plopped down in one day.
Did you say 50?
That's what I think we had, was either 30 or 50. 30. Okay, all right, I could be
No,
sure.
but I mean,
But
it's
it's
still a lot.
significant regardless. There's
Yeah.
That's it.
And so this, the Boys and King is, if the select board decides to sign this contract, the Boys and King is going to design the structure, come up with, you know, move you through the permitting process. You know, particularly there's, you know, there has to be an archaeological survey done. There is National Environmental Protection Act clearances that have to be secured. It's a more substantially arduous process than what the town is normally doing with your town highway projects, I would say. And so the purpose of what the Boys and King is, you're hiring them is not just to do the engineering, but also to, you know, complete the permanent process and then actually, you know, bid out for a contractor to go to construction. So once they're done, you're gonna have a contractor on board to actually come in and build this thing.
And this is being covered by a structures grant that we got, a $200,000 V-Trans structures grant.
Which one? The Du Bois and King?
Yes.
The engineering project is covered by the structures
Okay.
grant.
Yes.
And so that grant is 180,000 grant and 20,000 from the town.
Yep.
Of which 158,559 will be paid to Du Bois and King.
Oh, yes. Yep.
Which leaves us $380,000 for the whole construction.
Roughly, yes.
Which
Not counting, I think there's $306,000 in remaining funding from V-Trans, not including the, I think, 90,000-ish that the town will
You
be.
know, I'm just saying this,
Yeah.
so there's a 360,000 TAP grant, that's the federal grant, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Which is not really $360,000 in grant. It's 360 minus 90.
No, it's
270.
it's 360,000 in grant plus 90,000. It's 400. You were awarded, as far as the state is concerned, 450,000 for the TAP grant. The split is 360,000 of that is going to come from V-Trans, and 90,000 of that is the town's 20% responsibility.
I'm having trouble following that on this worksheet. Is that what this worksheet says?
No, because
Okay.
Ellie and I were just we were looking at the grant agreement today and we have questions.
Okay.
Let's leave
So
it at that.
so not to.
Yeah.
So we know that we have the $158,000 contract to approve, or not.
Yes.
So we can't move forward without it, and we have to move forward. But we don't know what all these grant things are.
Well, Colin might be able to explain.
So you have two separate grants, which this was one of the last things that Danny had worked on, and I think smartly decided to. The structures grants are a pretty distinct program from what they call the TAP grants, the Transportation Alternatives Program. The structures grants are administered directly by the V-Trans district, so District 2, which would be, Mark Pickering is who administers, V-Trans District 2. They're kind of your local V-Trans maintenance district who are plowing the roads and managing the construction projects. And the way that the structures grants work is it's essentially a rolling priority list based on some factors in terms of town highway mileage, population, and so you do have to apply for the structures grants, but you essentially move up the list in priority each year that you do not get a structures grant, and then the district is going to let you know once you're up at the top of the list again and tell you that you should apply. The TAP grants are administered through what's called the V-Trans Municipal Assistance Bureau, which is in Barry. And those are separate annual discretionary grants. And the local match is different for the structures grants versus for these TAP grants. The structures grants, so long as the town has adopted road and bridge standards that meet V-Trans rules, the structures grants are a 90%, 10% state versus local split. The TAP grants are an 80-20 split regardless. And so you have $200,000 in the structures grant that is a 90-10 split between V-Trans and the town. And then there's an additional $450,000 in a TAP grant that is an 80-20 split between the town and the state. And I mean, one of the things in this project is that those have to be kept separate. Like that's part of what my job is to keep track of this and make sure that we're spending and tracking and reimbursing those separately. So it's likely that the TAP grant, we're not going to use any of that funding until probably 2027 once this is designed.
And you really answered those questions for me before too, so thank you. But what I'm getting at is if it's $565,000 total, of which 110 is town funds, matching funds, 90 plus 20, so it's 110. So that gives us 455,000 in total project funds available, right? Of which 158 is being spent more or less with Du Bois, which gives us about 300,000, maybe $400,000 for the whole project. Construction after it. Does that sound like a reasonable amount of money?
Well, so I mean, I guess the
$27.
First thing, the first thing I would say is that the way that the reimbursements, I guess I should back up here. The way that these grants work is the town pays the upfront cost, you pay the contractor, and then you submit a reimbursement request to the state. That can be done as frequently as you want. The reimbursements are going to be at the rate that depending on exactly.
I know there's a whole list of
So it's going to be you're going to be sending them an invoice for $20,000. They're going to be sending you $18,000 back for the structures grant, and so there isn't a way to kind of minimize the town's piece of this. You're going to be spending 20% of the money every single time that you're invoiced, and so the total amount of money that you have available is 650,000 between the two grants.
565.
Well, it should be, it's that 360 is not including the town's portion. That's what the grant agreement, the CA 08-7, it says 360,000 on the first page. If you scroll down to the second or the third page of your agreement with VTrans, it says 360,000 in VTrans money, 90,000 in town money for a total value of 450,000. So it's 650,000 between the two, 150,000 of which would be spent on Du Bois and King for the engineering, leaving 500,000 remaining for construction.
Which you think is a reasonable amount of funds?
I mean, this is a bigger issue. I think it's likely, I mean, that's the point of going through the engineering process, to figure out exactly how much it's going to be. To be honest, I would not be surprised if the town is in a position having to seek some amount of additional grant funding for this project in either next year or the following year. It happens a lot, honestly. I mean, I think the key pieces there are that if you have an ongoing project that VTrans has already spent money on, they're very invested in seeing those projects actually finish. And so it means that again, there's no guarantees, but it makes it much more difficult for them to say no for requests for additional funding. I think the other piece of it is, and this is, I think, not irrelevant to the town making a decision about this grant, but just kind of above the heads of us here, is that the cost of these type of projects have increased really dramatically over the last 3 or 4 years. So when we requested this amount 2 years ago, this is a reasonable number. By the time we're actually, have gone through the whole process to be in a position to actually get the ball rolling and move forward, suddenly that number feels less realistic. And in the engineering piece in particular, the costs have increased really, really dramatically for projects of similar scale just in the last 3 or 4 years. Our engineering quotes, I mean, what we have here from Du Bois and King is pretty standard, I would say, for what we've been seeing for similar projects in our, in the region that we work for, and then also around the state. It's triple what it would have been in 2021, realistically.
So the reason I'm asking all these questions is because I know we're going to need a new truck. At least one, right?
No, multiple.
More than one new truck.
If we stick to the capital plan.
Yeah, the 10 years. So we have this huge highway equipment outlay coming in the next year or two.
Yes.
And we have this is another asset fund expense. So we just need to be super on top of our priorities in spending in the next 2 to 3 years and where the money's coming from. And so I'm not asking to pin you down to is $500,000 enough for this project, but just to make everybody aware that it is a really hugely important project and very expensive, and one that we just need to watch our dollars. So sorry to. I'm not bugging you.
I agree with you 100%, and I wouldn't want to give an off-the-cuff estimate.
Yeah.
But the total cost, I could see $1 million.
Yeah. And so we need bridges.
For the engineering, 800. You got.
And we need bridges. You're
probably going to add. By the time we're said and done. Yeah. When we're driving over this thing in 2028.
Yeah.
I promise.
Okay, I've made my point, and thank you for answering my questions.
No. That's what I'm here for.
We just need to be.
Steve.
For the sake of public information, could you introduce yourself?
I'm sorry.
What your role is in this?
Yes, my name is Colin Bratton.
Right.
I work for the Wyndham Regional Commission.
That's why.
Yes, and I am the municipal project manager for this project, and I've worked with Danny on
This was voted on
in the first
This
place.
was voted on a long time ago.
Yes.
And Wyndham Regional will be the primary driver of this. So I think it helps to say all of a sudden, where did you come from and what roles does Wyndham Regional have and things, so it's a continuum here that I think people need to know about.
Project management
Right.
is what.
Colin appears from time to time.
Yeah, no, I
That's right.
Tara?
He's a welcome presence.
Can Jim, while you're still here, or both of you, what's the risk of not doing this project?
It's, you have no choice.
Yeah, right. It's,
The,
That was-
that is an old, boiler stack
Yeah.
from
Some
the
that, like,
early
they pulled out of
1900s. They pulled it off a
industrial,
factory
yeah.
and used it for a culvert. Very resourceful, and it is rusting out. And there's
we've
And
known
it's not
this
just
for
a
years.
simple culvert. It's not just
No,
a,
no. We've known that, I mean, we've worked,
and it's
I
big,
remember working
and that
on
brook
this.
has overrun its bank a couple of times.
Yeah.
So
So there's no easy fix. There's no band-aid.
no, but it's for And to Sheila's questions, will this wrap it up in this bag? I don't believe it. And Colin's giving you the best information at this time to the best of his ability.
And it's changed since we worked on it in,
Right.
2024.
I don't know why
or
everything
earlier
tripled
even.
in the last 5 years. Real estate, this, that, and the other thing, but
Everything.
it's everything. And so
Yeah.
the initial discussion isn't the final discussion.
Anyway, thank you. I'm just,
No, I remember the start of it so that, the Slate Rock Road, it's sort of famous, for being a time-consuming and pricey and slightly overwhelming project. And, also realizing the competing claims. It's also relevant to add in the conversation that we just had about climate change and keeping our highway department going. It's all part of the same thing.
Yeah.
And so we just have to deal with it as best we can. Being, frugal and insightful and getting good help.
so can I make a motion?
Yeah.
I move that we accept the Du Bois and King Guilford Selectboard Rock Road Culvert Replacement Project contract.
Okay.
I think I didn't say that exactly right. Authorize. No, accept the contract.
Yeah, there's a price not to exceed.
Oh, not to exceed $158,559.
Mhm. Okay, is there any further conversation about it?
I didn't catch the not to exceed what?
$158,559. It's on page 187 of the contract.
Yeah, that was long.
Which
It's not
a percentage
187.
is covered by a grant.
90-10.
90
I think Colin was.
I think Colin was right when he said, when I looked at the research, I didn't get to go through the entire document, but most towns, he's right, don't end up paying the full increased share. I mean, VTrans almost always supplements the funding, Colin, unless I'm wrong, either with additional TAP money, a structures fund, another federal source. So I don't think we get crushed by inflation. I just, I don't think they're going to tag on another $100,000. Do you think, Colin, or not?
No,
Not
you're not
twice.
gonna be,
Not twice.
you will, I mean, there's a procedure for these grants. Once the engineering and the permitting process has been completed, then you're gonna have a final, this is what it's gonna cost to go to construction. You'll be able to see how much money is left in the existing grant versus what their final estimated construction costs are. And then before anything is done, you can go back to VTrans and request additional funding. And again, I mean, these are discretionary programs, so I can't sit here and, speak for VTrans decision makers. Oh, they're deaf, but it's.
These grants come up every year.
Yes, they come up every
Yeah.
year. Once they've already spent a certain amount of money in a project, they want to see those projects completed. I would be extremely surprised if the town is stuck with
Me too.
$300,000 or $400,000.
Me too. I mean, I think that's perfect.
I think from what I researched, the VTrans and the FHWA both know the construction costs have just exploded. So they're ready to handle that, in an assistant manner.
Okay, so are we ready to vote? I'm assuming that's a yes.
Yes.
Okay, so it's been moved and seconded, and Chip, what is your pleasure?
I'm not sure what we're voting on.
Oh, you didn't hear?
I missed the motion. That's why I asked to have it
Would
repeated.
you please restate your
I'll put my mouth
motion?
full of cooking. I move that we accept the proposal for the Slate Rock Road construction engineering contract,
From Du Bois and King.
Okay,
not to exceed
Yes.
$158,550
From Du Bois and King.
from Du Bois and King, not to
right,
exceed.
yeah, okay, gotcha. That, I
Whatever.
would say aye.
Okay, Tara,
I
Mike,
Aye.
Sheila,
Aye.
and Miranda says aye. Okay. I think we should pass out some cookies.
I'm trying. Holly, want another cookie?
Sure, I'll take another one for you.
Would you mind taking the box and passing it around back there? Careful that it doesn't.
hopefully there's grants. We still have grants in the future.
Hopefully we manage to monitor this very, because it's gonna be like a multi-year project.
Right, nobody else would like an extra cookie?
No?
Okay,
Thank you, Colin.
Thank you.
so the next
Yeah, no, no.
order of business is to
Yeah.
approve the salt vendor contract for FY '26.
So moved.
Okay, is
A
there?
second.
Okay. We've already discussed this. Is there any need for more discussion? Okay,
No.
Chip, what is your pleasure?
Aye.
Tara,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Sheila?
Aye.
And Brenda says aye. Okay, now we're moving on to Fairground road measurement.
Thanks
you. Thanks so much. And as you recall, this was the micro mapping issue.
Yeah.
And do we need to explain it to the public?
Yes, you do.
Yes, okay, so I can do that. So we were contacted by someone at the state, at VTrans, who had questions about Fairground Road and where it was a town road and where it was not a town road. And it ended up in her asking Jim where he plowed. And it turns out that he doesn't plow up to the fairground, which is where our town map has as the town road, but he does plow down to a residence to the south of Fairground Road. And so all of this got the E911 board, and our person who deals with that is Tyler Hermanson. And he took all that information and the current, do you want to see it on the screen?
Not
Do you
really.
need to? No. Okay, so anyway, if there's one resident on Fairground Road and their address will change per E911, and the fairground will have one address, and the Boy Scout camp that is owned by the Guilford Rec Club will also have a new address for E911 purposes. So this is really all about, because the state found the discrepancy in the length of the two things, one being an actual town road and one being a driveway. They're changing the lengths, and that necessitates a change to the E911 addresses, and it's going to be a little bit more efficient this way.
So it will probably be safer for the one resident who, or maybe the Boy Scout camp, that will be safer. And am I right in saying that this will result in the loss of $58 for the town?
I think
53. 53,
Yeah. 53, but
Bye.
I got a call from Jeff Nugent today about all this activity that's going on at the state level, and there are some other things brewing that might affect it too. Not big, but like it might make up for the $53.
Oh, okay.
We can hope.
I move, we accept the Fairground Road measurement change.
I'll second.
Okay, is there any further discussion? Okay, Chip, how do you vote?
I vote aye.
Okay, Tara.
Aye.
Okay, Mike.
Aye.
Okay, Sheila.
Aye.
And I vote aye. So let's see. Do we have other business? I wondered whether we might, or would we be able to talk about the December 22nd scheduled meeting?
I was gonna recommend that we not meet.
Yes.
Only that we meet to sign warrants and that's it.
And so do you, Erica, help me figure out how to do this
Just need to look it up.
in, can we propose that, I mean, can we transact, this is a scheduling issue, correct?
This is
It's
this
not-
is a scheduling. You could do this via email if you wanted to.
Oh, okay,
So this is fine.
okay.
I'm not the meeting, but just discussing
So,
the scheduling.
okay.
Okay, so is everybody okay with, Ellie has some needs about getting some warrants signed.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And so in our scheduling discussion, we can figure out how to make sure that Ellie can have those needs met. And
Bye, Steve.
bye-bye.
Take care.
And that we can also just skip our meeting
Mm-hmm.
on the
Sounds good.
22nd.
Okay.
Okay, so
Yes.
we'll just make a plan to do that. And so now it's time to
Can I just
discuss.
say
Yeah.
other business? Were you moving on?
I was thinking of it.
Okay. I just wanted to say something in other business. Now,
Oh, okay.
a while ago, I had volunteered Vermont Roadworks, our
right.
company, to do the stop ahead sign, and then things got
Stop
we
bar?
were stop bar.
Yeah.
Well, I think it would, yeah. Anyway, we were really busy, and then the winter came fast, and we can't paint when it's cold because it'll just peel up.
Right.
So we plan on doing that in the spring. We have donated line striping around town for the past few years. Sheila had mentioned line striping in the parking lots, maybe the last meeting, and I just wanted to say that the company that does the road line striping is from Barrie, and we have local line stripers. So if and when people do want parking lots line striped, I just would ask that there's an RFP that goes out
That was just
for
a random
local
thought, you know, just-
local
yeah.
people.
Sure. I just had this, I
That's
don't
it.
even raise it at the meeting, I just talking
It
with
came
Jimmy.
up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so that's note to selves. Okay, so in terms of actions taken at,
We have correspondence.
oh, that's right, okay.
We have this
I threw you
rural
off.
fire protection appropriations
Yeah.
request.
Yes.
So
How shall we handle this?
I just want to thoroughly describe what this is. This is an email that Uriel and I both got last week. But it's addressed to the select board, treasurer, and town clerk. Yeah. And it's this group, the Rural Fire Protection Task Force, formerly called the Dry Hydrant Grant Program. But they sent this request for an appropriation of $200, and Uriel very nicely sent them back a description of the process to petition, And then they said, no, we don't want to do that. And they don't believe that they are a social service according to the VLCT definition. But VLCT does not have a definition of a social service. It's one of the things that is inclusive of they feel that the legislation is inclusive of many different things. There is no specific list of what is and what isn't a social service. So it seems like this group would fall under that. So the select board could, if you wanted to, take it upon yourselves to make this an article fronted by the select board at town meeting. That's the option that I wanted to let you know you had.
I think we have another option.
Do I, can I jump in here for a second? Just give me like 3 minutes. So she did hit on as I was saying before, I think it's genuinely useful. I mean, the RFP program does provide a level of value. I don't think we want to get tangled up in a dry hydrant. Part of it is what Erica just said. The real issue is they were trying to bypass Guilford's process by declaring themselves exempt, which is not their call to make. Essentially, if every organization could self-exempt by claiming they're not really a social service, the petition that we have would be useless.
Right.
And from the VLCT, I mean, they do have a model, but a model policy is just that, a model. And Guilford adopted it use the model off their own to get their own policy. So that's what governs it. They can cite the VLCT as much as they want to, but if Guilford's policy doesn't have an explicit exemption for non-social organizations, then as Uriel said, the petition is requirement. You have to be, going to town meeting. Here's the bottom line is I thought there were two solutions. We either prove the $200 this year as a public safety expenditure, but we're classifying for the record and for future requests that Guilford's appropriation policy governs all town meeting funding requests and organizations can't self-exempt. Or I thought an alternative would be to approve it as a direct select board appropriation for public safety consulting services. That way we, rather than running it through the town meeting every year. And I think we have authority to do that in our budget. It just depends on how valuable we think it is.
I have a third option.
Sheila?
I think that they should petition the fire department for this expense and have that the fire department should include it in their budget because we don't cover
Yeah, that's
any
good
other
too.
fire expenses in town. It's all through the fire department budget.
I think that
I
makes
agree
more
with
sense.
that.
That's a great one.
Well, thank you,
Okay.
Tip.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think that we have dispatched that issue quite nicely.
I just don't know how to measure the value, and I think that's why I kept asking Jared about it, because I figured he would be able to say it's a worthwhile expense or not, but let them decide.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Good idea.
That makes sense.
Good idea. I love that.
Thank you.
Yep. I agree.
Okay, so getting back to,
So
go ahead.
with that, is Erica just going to respond and defer
Yeah.
them to the fire
Of course,
department?
we don't have to take any action.
Yeah.
So, okay, perfect. Deferring them to the fire department, period.
Mhm.
Got it.
Okay, so actions that we have taken in this meeting, we have, let's see, we did the minutes, we did the warrants, we did the, well, of course, there was no action taken with the review. We approved the contract of Du Bois and King. We, my agenda just slipped right off.
Salt.
Yes, we did, oh, thank you.
Just turn that over.
I don't know.
There you go.
Yes, we did the salt contract, we did the fairgrounds road measurement adjustment, and we, well, while it wasn't an action, we dealt with correspondence. And Now, actions to be taken. Erica will contact the fire department and suggest that they handle the dry hydrant people. I forgot what their names are. And
Rural fire protection.
that's right. And let's see, do we have any other actions that we said we were
Postponing, figuring out how
Oh,
to deal
that's
with the
right.
22nd.
Thank you. These cookies, I've just run
The
out.
sugar high.
It's made me ditzier than usual. Okay, we will decide on a method to meeting the needs of the treasurer, and also to be able to skip the meeting on December 22nd as we usually do each year. And so, wishing everybody a spacious and happy holiday season, we can have a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
I'll second it.
Okay. Chip, how do you vote?
Yes.
Okay. Tara, are you in favor of adjournment?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, and
You
Mike
haven't asked
is,
yet.
and Sheila
Aye.
is, and I say aye. So excellent.
Thank you.